Hold on. To be fair, both of you guys have done it. So, did you get to answer the first Gulf War thing?
He doesn't have an answer.
We already went over.
He has no answer. We didn't go over.
No, we did. I said it was pretextual. That's the answer.
Every war is pretextual.
Oh, finally, an admission. I agree.
You're right. There's a reason for every war. They're not random.
Thank you very much.
The pretext was them invading Kuwait and using chemical warfare against the Kurdish people.
False pretext.
Oh, so that didn't happen. They didn't invade Kuwait. They didn't gas the Kurds.
Are you both comfortable with leaving the Gulf War and going to Kanye?
No.
Hold on.
I want to continue with the Iraq War.
Yeah, now, because he did ask, because the two reasons.
This stupid. Man, he said, so both of y'all don't want to leave the island to go to Kanye. Man, shit your ass down.
Reasons you gave for Iraq was
I can tell you there's a general reason the United States will support countries that are of geostrategic interest. That usually means next to important travel ways for trade.
Of course.
It could mean geographic location in relation to China or Russia.
Yes.
And then there's a third reason, places that have somewhat tenable democracies.
Yeah.
Like that's an important thing. That's why we don't intervene so much in African countries, because we're worried that if we start shipping in a ton of weapons, shit will get fucked. In Iraq, we abandoned that strategy, and that was one of the reasons why the post-Iraq war, the second Gulf War, was such an unbelievable fucking shit show, because we invaded the country, we dismantled the government, and we realized that was fucked, so we tried to build another government, and that was even more fucked, and arguably a lot of what we ended up shipping to Iraq went straight to fucking ISIS.
So
that was one of the bad things about that was like the bad thing about Iraq.
Let me ask
and
you this,
Afghanistan as well. Yes.
Let me ask you this, just so Nick can properly respond to the Iraq war.
Sure.
Are you saying that Israeli involvement had nothing to do with us going into Iraq?
That
Israeli involvement.
I'm sure that people from Israel were probably happy we did it. I'm sure there are Jewish people in the United States that are probably happy we did it, but I don't think the Jews made it happen. Like, I think if you delete Israel and you delete Jewish people, God willing for Nick, from the world, we're still probably going to
so
Iraq.
You think we would have invaded regardless of Israeli
regardless of
involvement?
any Jewish influence?
Okay, what's your response to that? He's saying Israel pretty much played no part in it.
Okay, well, I mean, I was about to respond to a lot of this. I would say in the first place, he said, well, we don't go into Africa because they can't build a democracy.
Okay.
As if Iraqis are any more democratic than fucking Africans. That's number one. Number two, he said, well, we wouldn't go to war in Africa because the weapons would just go everywhere. As though that's not exactly what's been happening in the Middle East for 40 years. That was happening before we even arrived there. It was happening with the Soviets against the Mujahideen in 1979. It's been going on. So both of those are two arguments that are just crap.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, you disagree. Okay.
And so,
and then what about the Iraq? Yeah.
Fair use. Fair use.
And then about Jews in Iraq. He says, well, maybe there were Israelis that supported it. No, there were very powerful Zionist Jews that supported it. It was the number two in the
See, y'all, there's different levels to the Jewish community. And they belong to many different groups. That's in their community. You got the good side and the bad side. Just like the black community, good side and the bad side.
DOD. It was a number 3 in the DOD. It had a Near East policy in the National Security Council. These are the guys that put together. And by the way, it's not like I'm just listing people that were in the government. They specifically created. No, I'm about to answer that. They specifically created the Office of Special Plans. The Office of Special Plans is where all this.
What the fuck is the Office of Special Plans? Man, see, white people like him, this is what they do. They study world governments, the good, the bad, the ugly, where the money's going. Oh, we helping you out and we ain't getting no benefits from it? Why is that? Oh, you want to stop me from talking? Oh, bodies dropping here and there? Oh, truth got to be somewhere. If it ain't real, no bodies be dropping. But nah, bodies be coming up, dropping when things get revealed.
Phony intelligence about WMDs from Iraq.
It wasn't phony.
Was coming from. It was.
It was not.
It
the
was.
OSP was also requested by Cheney and Bush.
You
because
can
they didn't
look it up.
I have looked it up.
Let him finish his point, then you can go ahead and say it was phony. Let him just finish his point about the Office of Special.
So they contradicted the CIA. They contradicted American intelligence. They had Mossad people going in between all day long. Not only that, but these are all guys. I don't know how people can just pass this off as a coincidence. All these guys that I'm talking about in the government were 10 years prior writing a clean break memo that was literally commissioned by the Prime Minister of Israel. The Prime Minister of Israel said, hey, guys, go write a memo about our foreign policy. And the foreign policy playbook they wrote was this: first Iraq, then Syria, then Iran. Then these guys all get in the Bush White House, and that's, go figure, exactly what they pushed for. On September 20th, 9 days after 9/11, 40 prominent neocons at the Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, New York Times wrote a letter to George Bush and said, if you don't support a war against Hezbollah, against Iraq, against Syria, then we're going to say you're an ally of the terrorists. You're a cuck in the war on terrorism. Those guys were all Jewish.
Man, what Nick was just doing in rap battle terms, he sound like a 2-on-2 back and forth. Like he just going back to back with it, with the bars, like he punching.
Zionists, by the way, all these neocons, they're the most prominent conservatives. At the same time, that same week, they're drafting plans for war against Iraq. We didn't even know who did it. And when we found out, it was people that trained in Afghanistan, funded by Saudis, connected to Pakistanis. Why are they talking about going to war against Hezbollah, which is in Lebanon? Why are they talking about going to war in Syria? Syria helped us in the war on terror. Why are they talking about going to Iran? It makes no sense. Other than that, this is the fucking playbook that they wrote, commissioned by Netanyahu. It's not crazy. It's not weird. That's just the facts.
All right. So, again,
Fatality.
every single argument relies on this. There are some Jewish people that said this, therefore that's the plan. There's a reason why you won't answer specifically anything related to the first or even the second Gulf War, and then you restate some of my points, you make them your own, and then you just keep harping this idea that the Jews, the Jews, the Jews. The Office of Special Plans was created because Cheney and Bush wanted to take unvetted intel because they really wanted to go to Iraq and fight a war there, and they didn't like the information they were getting from the CIA or the FBI, which is interesting because if U.S. intelligence is so corrupted, why the fuck would you even need to create the Office of Special Plans? If the Mossad and the Jews and all these people have so much influence throughout every single hierarchy of the United States government, can you tell me why the OSP was even created? Why couldn't they just fake intel from the CIA?
Because their positions were in the DOD. I mean, you're telling me, wait a minute, they didn't have any clout. They just created an office within the Defense Department, the number 2 and 3 in the fucking Pentagon.
Yeah, why did they have, what I'm asking you, I'll repeat the question.
They
you
used
won't
what
have an
they
answer,
had. They used what they had.
This is how they used what they had? They literally created a new
why
office.
didn't they do it in the CIA when they did it in the DOD?
When we talk about conspiracies, they're always all powerful, but then they're also super cocked at the same time. If these guys have so much influence, they're so powerful, why the fuck would they create a whole separate office? Why wouldn't they just take shit from the CIA?
Okay, he's saying.
That's
okay,
so,
I see what he's saying.
Let me summarize real quick for the viewers that don't understand. Okay,
please,
so there probably was no good reason to think that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
Yeah.
Okay, and the actual intel in the United States that was doing research at the time was reporting as much to the White House.
Yeah.
Chances
No
are
WMDs.
no. However, Bush and Cheney had a separate office created, the Office of Special Plans, and what they did was they took unverified, unvetted intel and they shot that up right to the White House, and they said, "Hey, look at this report. Hey, look at this report. Maybe there's something there." But intel is a messy business. There's a lot of verifications we have to do, right? And as a result of some of that unverified bullshit intel, they used that as a pretext for weapons of mass destruction. They went to Iraq. We just Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
Probably a really bad way to start that war.
Yeah.
But the problem is, and again, this is my biggest issue with these types of all-encompassing conspiracies that run every part of the world, is that they're so fucking powerful. Why would they create a whole cucked separate institution that retards on fucking YouTube and cozy.tv can research? Why wouldn't they have just faked intel through the CIA?
Okay. So you're saying why create this entire other entity?
Like, how suspicious are you? Where it's like, we're going to create the Office of Jewish Plans. I mean, I'm sorry, the Office of Special Plans, not the Jewish one.
Okay.
And then we're going to use that to go. Why not just go through the CIA?
Okay.
This is so.
Okay, that's fine.
Hang on.
I see this question. This question is, why create an entire another branch of U.S. government to create a narrative to go into Iraq when we could have just faked intel from the CIA in the first place? I see what you're going.
That's so funny to me. I mean, because first of all,
He won't answer that, by the way. Go ahead.
Okay, is that interruption going to be clocked?
Well, he's going to answer. He's saying why create another agency?
He's going to ramble. He's not going to answer.
To come up with information.
There it is again. There.
See, Destiny? You know he about to break that shit down surgically. Surgically. It's it's going to be a surgical summer. Get Destiny. So as he opened up his mouth, Destiny instantly start cutting him out. Crazy.
Just again, see, they don't want me to talk.
The blue blinker need to chill. Everyone chill. Go.
So let me jump in. I love this
He called him Blue Blinker. Needs to chill. Man, I told he a funny asshole, man.
argument, because first it was like, well, it's really weird and crazy and blah blah blah. Then it turns into, well, why would the Zionist Jews that wrote the memo and work in the DoD in the number 2 and 3 positions, why would they create an office to funnel in unvetted intelligence from Mossad instead of doing it in the CIA? I don't know, because they were in the DoD, they were in the Pentagon. I mean, it's like presupposing the whole premise, which is that so let me get this straight. You're conceding that there are Zionist Jews that wrote the clean break memo working in the Pentagon. They were funneling unvetted intelligence given to them, and this is reported by witnesses, from the Mossad to, which is Israeli intelligence. You probably don't know that because you're ignorant.
Geostrategic interest
They're
in the Middle
pushing
East.
that.
Israeli intelligence. Thanks for
another interruption. So you're admitting you have Zionist Jews who wrote the memo in the Pentagon and in the State Department, in the DoD. They're funneling unvetted intelligence from foreign intelligence agencies into the government, and that was part of the war in Iraq. Is that all what you're saying? You're admitting that?
Yeah, you restated my whole answer. Let's see if you'll answer my question now. Go ahead.
Well, so then I don't think there's any disagreement. I mean, if he's going to sit there and say but he's wrong because he's saying they control everything and everyone. No one ever said that. My thesis at the beginning is that you have
He ain't even got to say it. They say it themselves. All those books they written, bragging about what they control, where position, how they community hold highest positions. He ain't even gotta say it.
These Zionist Jews in these positions, they have leveled up. In some cases, they have been helped by foreign intelligence to get there, and they use their influence and power to help the state of Israel, which is basically what you're conceding.
And I ain't no Nick fan. I know logic when I hear it. Logic don't have no skin color. Logic don't have no color.
I never once said they control everything. Anybody will tell you that there are divisions, the CIA, FBI, NSA, State Department, DoD. There is factionalism within all these groups, and some are more infiltrated than others. So nobody said, well, they control the whole government. If I can prove they only control the DoD, then therefore I win. And we agree. You're right. Zionist Jews in the DoD did give intelligence from the Mossad to Bush to bring us to war in Iraq. We agree.
Why did they need to create a separate office for it?
Because they needed to bypass the CIA.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they have just gone to the White House themselves?
There's rules and regulations they got to follow.
Bruh, if they trying to get past the CIA, they basically trying to go around them. And it also clears the CIA of, we ain't know. They knew. They just bypassed us. We ain't know. That's why.
Follow. That department doesn't have to.
There's rules and regulations for going to war in Iraq by creating a separate
This
office.
is a mechanism that they did.
Yeah.
Why would they create that then?
I just don't know why you wouldn't just pass it up through the CIA.
That's what they didn't pass it up through the CIA. Pass it up through they created this office special.
They created the
reported to the NSC.
Just to be clear,
here's a summary. Basically, what he's saying is that the CIA was not compromised with Zionist interests to the same degree that the DoD was, so they did it through the DoD.
Exactly.
Is that the answer?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's the answer.
Pretty much.
So the CIA was not, because they're different agencies.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that.
Yeah.
But like the idea that Jewish Zionists have the levers on our financial system, on I guess the DoD and the Pentagon, but our
Now we're
intelligence
talking about
agencies.
the financial system.
Okay.
Well, no. These are your words. You're saying that Jews run everything. You can look at me. It's okay. Don't be nervous.
The topic was Iraq.
It was, but you never gave me the answer.
I like how you threw a funny part in to distract from the fact you're losing. Go ahead, look at me. Don't be nervous.
Okay.
You're the one
I
that's
see you
losing.
staring off into the corner. You're having like a little autism attack.
It's
okay.
amusing.
You have any
I'm just
Adderall for this
amused
guy
that
over
you
here?
said
He's
they
getting a
were
little bit worried.
Iraq.
See, calling him a name, telling me he having an artistic fit or a moment. It's cool if he use it, but if you use it, use a artistic phobic.
Okay, let me just besides the
No,
insults.
no, no.
Let me
I'm just saying that like it's frustrating because it reminds me of arguing with my mom, right? Where she says the elections are rigged. Well, how did Trump win in 2016? Well, enough good people showed up that day. Like
Now
it's
it's about
always
the
rigged
election.
until it's not. I don't know how if we get so much Israeli intelligence, it's so corrupt. Why couldn't Israelis just passed on fake intelligence through the CIA and gotten us to go to war with Iraq that way?
I think his answer was basically that
his answer was that we can't do it that way. Yeah, we weren't compromised that way.
The CIA to the degree where it can go up, where we can go into war, but we were compromised at the DoD level, so they did it through the chain of the DoD.
Gotcha.
Steven has a better strategy, though.
Let's say that I buy, which is ridiculous.
I'm just summarizing what Nick said.
I understand. Let's say that I buy all of that, which is
Those that's gonna do crooked shit ain't gonna do it the right way. Destiny knows that, man, but by him debating Nick, he exposing the what you call that, the ultra MK mind control shit. He getting exposed as basically just saying anything. He already been destroyed. Like he in a oblivion world, like realm. Like bro, you already destroyed, bro. You still talking, like.
already too much, and it's hilarious.
All right.
Why is it that they created their own little office of Jewish plans? They got us to go to Iraq. Why the fuck didn't they get us to get rid of Saddam Hussein? Why did we keep him there?
They did.
What do you mean we kept him there?
We got him in 2003.
Why didn't we get him in the first Gulf War?
The fact is, we got him.
Whoa, shit!
What's funny about that?
Why didn't we get him in the first Gulf War?
We got him.
Did they need a second office?
That was the goal, bro. They got him. It don't matter how long it takes. They got him. Mission accomplished. On to the next target. See? Destiny is getting exposed, man. He trying to catch a win so bad that he resort back to a child. He making Nick look like he's like super intelligent. He just know a little bit more shit and ain't scared to say it. See, a lot of people know shit like what Nick know, but they scared to say it.
He needed a 9/11.
Oh, okay.
Boom. So there's no answer. So is
No,
so
he did answer.
no. Hold on. So
That's
to be clear,
amazing.
to be
That's
clear,
amazing.
because also, by the way, the best answer, the best reason for why we should have gotten rid of Saddam Hussein after 9/11 was because of the first Gulf War. So if we would have deposed him after Gulf War I, I don't think anybody would have even cared, right?
So,
the
let
motherfucker
me
used
get this
chemical
straight.
warfare against the Kurdish
So the
people
argument
and
is,
invaded
well,
Kuwait,
why
which
didn't
is
they
to
do
this
it through the
day,
CIA?
which is to
Let
this
him-
day like one of
okay.
the most U.S. loyalist fucking countries on the planet because we saved them when Saddam Hussein invaded. So my question is, if the Jewish people, just I'm laying it all out, okay? The Jewish people have so much influence in the DoD, they create a special office because Israel really wants us to go to war with Iraq to get rid of Saddam Hussein.
Okay.
They managed to do all of that successfully, and they get the most powerful nation in the history of the world to go to war with another nation that doesn't even border Israel to depose Saddam Hussein, but we don't even get rid of Saddam Hussein. What the fuck?
Well, hold
It
on.
doesn't
the
even
point?
border Israel. Wow, what a
When
lack
was
of
the Office of
understanding.
Special Operations created again?
I think it was 2003.
So it was created after 9/11. I think that's what he's trying to say. Is like they needed the 9/11. That's why they created the office, and then that allowed them to circumvent CIA
But hang on,
intelligence.
Myra,
Sure, but
let
I'm
me
saying
let me
that- but I'm
argue.
saying
Hang
if
on,
for the
this
first
guy,
Gulf War,
this guy can ramble and interrupt.
Bro,
I
you
get
rambled so much.
No.
There it is.
Nick, good. Yeah.
All right.
Jesus is king. Go Nick.
So,
I was just
let me-
summarizing what he was saying.
That's
so,
amazing. And I can argue here.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
it's amazing that the argument started out with crazy, weird. They think Jews run everything to like, well, why didn't the Jews take out Saddam Hussein the first time? Why didn't the Jews do it this way instead of this other way? Will you engage with the fact that these people wrote the clean break memo for a foreign government and then were in the most important national security positions 7 years later? Will you engage with that at all?
Yeah,
Will you address
but
that?
the problem is you haven't established anything other than
No,
the fact
no,
that these guys
engage
are
with that.
Jewish. I'm
Tell-
engaged
tell
with
me
it.
what you
Sure,
think about that.
Yeah, they might have been Jewish. They might
No,
even
no,
like
they
Israel.
were. No,
Sure,
no, they
sure,
were.
Sure. They,
He said they might have been, even though it's for Israel.
Say they might have been. That's
sure,
a weasel
They were
word.
Jewish. They probably supported the nation of Israel. Okay.
No. They don't. Hang on. Let me tell you the facts.
Nick, I don't care unless you can
Why don't
show
you
me.
care?
Because you have to show me a
Why don't you
connection.
care?
It's not enough to say.
Let me
Joe,
show you
he's
the
getting,
connection.
Dustin, he's getting there. He's getting there.
He's not going to. He has no evidence. But go for it.
That's amazing.
He's going to talk for a while, but there is nothing.
The clean
There's
break
nothing.
memo is the foundation. Go ahead.
So, because I want you to engage with this. In 1996, it's not like maybe they supported Israel, maybe they're Jewish. Again, with the weasel words, no, they were Jewish. They were Zionists. They didn't probably support Israel. This was commissioned by the state of Israel. Bibi Netanyahu commissioned them to write this. And they write in 1996 a memo that says, in order to secure the realm of Israel, we need Saddam gone.
I think Nick is on the good side of Judaism. If you take the his headphones off, the guys that's Jewish and got the long hair, when they put on what they religion on top of their head, you can see the print for them having it on too long. So he know what he's talking about. He's just on the good side.
We need Syria destabilized. We need Iran gone. These are guys that then go and work at the highest level positions in the DOD. They create the OSP.
He might say he's a Christian, but nah. But if he is, he must be what they call it? Orthodox Judaism.
Which creates the intelligence for the war in Iraq. And that was their plan, actually, to go into Syria. If you look at some of the classified documents, they wanted to go into Syria, but the Iraq war was a big deal.
Orthodox Judaism. That's what the enemy of his religion call them, which is the true religion, because Ethiopians got the real Bible, the real Holy Bible.
And we wound up supporting rebels in Syria anyway. So will you engage with the fact that that's a pretty clear connection?
It's not.
That's not.
It's not. You have to show that Israel was controlling the United States foreign policy.
A foreign
there was
government.
popular support of the United States for the war. There was support in Congress for the war.
Wow.
We got the authorized use of military force. We did the first Gulf War, and we did the second one. You don't need Jewish anything to explain any of that.
So a foreign
and naturally,
government,
there's a lot of Israel enjoys broad support in the United States by most of its citizens. You don't
because
need
they
a
control the
conspiracy to
media.
explain. Okay.
We can talk about the media next. But he
Sure.
is saying the clean break memo. So you're saying that has nothing to do with it.
Sure. Remember,
Okay.
I mean, maybe, but the problem is what he'll do is he'll say 4 Jews were involved.
Amazing.
They might have even been from Israel, which I don't even know. I'd have to go
I
look
didn't
up
say
every
4
name.
Jews.
Usually when I look these people up, it'll be like they were born in New York to a Jew or something. I don't know about these guys in
Oh my
particular,
gosh.
right? But the issue is you can never show a connection of like this was the plan, this is the evidence. It's always like these guys were Jewish, they supported Israel, they wrote this document, they control the whole United States. Now remember earlier I said they couldn't just do it through the CIA? No, they had to make a separate office. Okay, what about the fact that all the United States supports them? Well, they control all of the media, which would be more impressive, by the way, than actually controlling
We'll
the
talk
CIA.
about the media here
Sure,
in a second,
I know,
because
we'll
that's
get to
another
it.
topic.
But
I think what Nick is saying.
I understand. I just
Yeah.
real quick. There's always this duality of they're kind of cocked and they really don't have any insight or infiltration into our intelligence agencies, but they also control the entire media apparatus of the entire United States. I don't know how they can do one but not the other. But
It's two different things. But what Nick is basically saying is that you have people that have Israeli interests at heart that are in high positions of the government that influence foreign policy for the betterment of Israel.
Yeah,
That's all he's saying.
for example, Zelensky, you said duality, his dual citizenship. Is Zelensky a Jew to you?
I don't think
Oh,
about
give me a
people that
fucking
way.
break,
I don't think
bro.
about it. I'm not a
All right,
Jew
we'll move on
hunter
to
looking
media.
for who's
I think-
Jewish or who's
I-
not.
let
That's
me-
a question.
Let me
because
jump
the
in. Let me summarize my point.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
Oh, fucking I was right. Apparently the guy was born in New York, 1941. Richard Norman period. Yeah.
He said he ain't a Jew hunter. He calling a nigga Jew hunter because he spitting truth. So he a Jew hunter. Always trying to downplay it.
Okay, so how many of these guys were even born? Were
They
any of
are
the, hold on,
Jewish.
the guys that you mentioned?
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I'm
When
just
you
curious,
say,
were any of the guys that you mentioned
Can
were
I
they born in
summarize my
Israel?
point or
Okay,
what?
let
This
him-
is
Wait, can I just ask?
unbelievable.
I mean, sorry. Were any of the
I
guys
never
you
said they
mentioned?
were born in Israel. I said they're Jewish Zionists.
Yeah, he did say
Why
that.
are you
Okay.
saying, oh my gosh, I said they're
So
Jewish
they're U.S.
Zionists?
citizens. Okay, go ahead.
I said they're Jewish Zionists, Destiny. I didn't say they were born
They're
in
American
Israel.
citizens too.
They're
who have a right to
Jewish-
serve in the military and are DoD just like any other citizen.
Okay, and that's
International
totally
Jew.
irre- it's so
It's
amazing.
interesting that you didn't mention that. Though.
Another
I thought these were
interruption.
born in
Another
Israel.
interruption.
Okay, gotcha.
But we're not
to
gonna
be
control
fair,
that. That's okay.
He did call them Zionists, which you can be a Zionist and hold a U.S. citizenship while
Yeah.
simultaneously.
I just
holding
when you call
Israeli
someone a
citizenship.
Zionist
doesn't matter.
Jew, then taking orders from
Wow.
Netanyahu.
Wow.
I mean, it feels like
That's
I understand.
crazy.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's
there's
fine.
no Zionist Jews with Americans. Yeah, fucking Sheldon Adelson had American citizenship. Jonathan Pollard had American citizenship. It didn't mean they weren't loyal to Israel. Talk about a like.
Facts. Destiny, you better not speak for them no more. You should have said, I don't know nothing about Israel. I'm an internet dude. You trying to debate with him on their behalf? You know you about to get taxed.
Like literally just if you're losing the debate, just lie about what the other person was saying. Wait a second, they weren't born in Israel. Throw my head up and laugh. Nobody fucking said that. I said they were Zionist Jews. I hope people are paying.
Wow. Now Nick almost looked like, hey man, that shit crazy.
Attention, jeez.
Yeah. Okay.
So let me
You want to summarize? Go ahead, please.
let me summarize my point.
Stop laughing, Sniggle.
You stop laughing.
Good.
So let me summarize my point. My point is this, okay? It's not just four guys. I said, and this is the whole debate. I said
Right. I mean, Destiny did kept bringing up four. What you trying to tell us about Jay-Z album? What's up? It ain't four guys. It's more than four.
you have guys at the highest level of government. I'm talking about these specific guys because it's so egregious. They get commissioned by a foreign government to write up a strategy for that foreign government, and then they go and implement it in the United States government 10 years later. And people can say, well, but there was support for the war, but the American people supported it. I threw out evidence and said, well, in 1998, all the same Jewish neocons, including all the four authors of the memo, including all the people that signed that letter on September 15, 2001, they signed a letter to Clinton in 98 before 9/11, before the WMD stuff, supporting a toppling of Saddam Hussein. In other words, they wanted it before there was a 9/11. They wanted it before there was popular support, before it was in the conversation. 9/11 happens, and within 5 days, it's not just four, you got 40 prominent Jewish neocons, Washington Post, Weekly Standard, New Republic, Wall Street Journal, New York Times. They all write, and by the way, all Jewish columnists too, Charles Krauthammer's another one. They all sign a letter saying, you got to go to war, not just in Iraq, but against Hezbollah, against Syria, against Iran. What I'm trying to do is paint a picture. I'm not saying that the Jewish lobby is omnipotent. I'm not saying that they control every aspect of government. I'm saying that it's not a coincidence that they're there. It's not innocuous that they're there. That was the original premise of the debate is, are they just people that happen to be there and do things? Or are there people in these positions where it becomes problematic because they have a tribal loyalty?
Wow. I took that off. No. That's crazy. All right, well, man. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the debate I want to see right here. Sit back and take notes because it's going to crack y'all head. I hope it crack mine. And hold it down. Don't foul out. You gotta hold it down so you won't foul out. Clean.
Getting hype. We got Nick Fuentes in the house, Sneeko in the fucking house. Welcome, guys, to phase 2 of the.
And crazy. It's not tribal. It's not religious. You said the reason that it's way more boring and way more complex.
Create a whole other conversation. So
well, no,
let's
they
try to-
shouldn't, but it's because he can't answer that.
Well,
The point is to bring up, if I can bring up 10
Just keep
different
looking at your
conflicts and
chat.
say the
Just
Jews,
keep looking at your
if I
chat.
can bring up 10 different things and I say the Jews, and then I push on any one of those, and I was like,
To be fair,
yeah, go The
I
guys
never
you
said they
mentioned
were born in
regulation for going to war in Iraq by creating a separate
This
office.
is a mechanism that they did.
Yeah.
Why would they create that then?
I the question
They
because you
used
won't
what
have an
they
answer.
had. They
because
used
this is-
what they
this
had.
is
And crazy. It's not tribal. It's not religious. On display right
Okay,
here.
we because I see what's going on here. Basically, we're answering one question by bringing up examples, and those examples basically create a whole other conversation. So
well, no,
let's
they
try to-
shouldn't, but it's because he can't answer that.
Well,
The point is to bring up. If I can bring up 10
Just keep
different
looking at your
conflicts
chat.
and say the
Just keep
Jews,
looking at
if
your
I
chat.
can bring up 10 different things and I say the Jews, and then I push on any one of those, and I was like,
To be fair,
yeah,
hold
entire area because of its location near Russia. We invaded Iraq into countries that are more northern and east,
So it's right there. It's right there.
places that have somewhat tenable democracies.
Yeah.
Going on. So both of those are two arguments that are just crap.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, you disagree. Okay.
and so
Hold on,
they
hold on,
went over
let,
that.
Destiny, let him finish his point, and then you
Okay.
can go ahead and
Sure.
say it was phony. Let him just finish his point about the Office of Special. Go
So they contradict. Go figure exactly what they pushed for. On September 20th, 9 days after 9/11, 40 prominent neocons at the Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, New York Times.
Why they abstained.
Let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
So we went into Libya. We went into Iraq.
Gaddafi-
Destiny,
All
Destiny,
evidence.
Destiny. He's only
Everyone
mentioning-
is acting.
For example, and I'm not trying to just zoom out here,
You don't
but I
think
am
the
trying to
invasion
give
of Kuwait,
examples.
you don't think that mattered either, right?
What I'm sure here's the big picture, Destiny,
Okay,
which
yeah,
is I
tell
think
me.
what you're missing.
And just sit there and complain. This is a whole different. This like a Nick like thinking Dragon Ball terms. He like a great ape. That's a Super Saiyan 3. No, that's a Super Saiyan God. Super Saiyan Blue. Great ape Super Saiyan God Blue. Right now. And he fighting blue dot Frieza.
Years later,
I'm sorry,
Russia's
we
got
don't
an arms
have,
buildup.
the United
You
States does not
dumbass.
have military troops in Ukraine.
Yes, they do.
Dumbass.
Wow,
No, they don't.
so naive.
No, they
Yes,
don't.
we do. They're
Then
called
why isn't Russia
contractors.
screaming it
They're
from the
called
rooftops?
contractors.
Okay.
Is that we give a lot of excuses. We said there were WMDs in Iraq. That's why we went to Iraq.
Second Gulf
There
War.
weren't any.
You're mixing the first and second one
No,
up.
no, I'm giving additional
Okay.
examples.
Well,
That
why not
was-
just focus on the first Gulf
Well,
War
and here's
instead of
because
talking
you're
around
missing.
a lot of
Here's
random
why.
shit?
Because now you're interrupting, trying to derail.
Because
It's
you
not
like to
working, you're
conflate a
running
whole bunch of
interference.
shit together
No,
because
because I'm
you don't
making
have
a
an
point.
answer,
No,
yeah.
because you're very naive and you think that the news media is telling you the truth about
Well, just
a very
explain
big
then. Why did
business,
we do the first Gulf War?
which is war.
Okay,
Yeah.
let him give his examples,
Thank
and then
you.
can you please address the Gulf
Be
War
more
for him?
rambling.
Absolutely,
Yeah, give your
absolutely.
examples because he's just giving me examples of why the United States lies to get in certain
Because he
situations.
doesn't have the answer to the first question,
No,
so
no,
he's going to
he'll-
obfuscate
no,
with
no,
stuff
he's
later.
gonna- he's gonna answer the-
Look at this.
It
Is
won't do it, but
crazy.
yeah, go for it. That's fine.
Look,
Yeah.
he's getting
I
nervous.
know it is.
He's
our
getting
strategy,
nervous because he
yeah.
doesn't know anything about foreign policy, so he doesn't want to talk
so this is
about
what
it.
we'll do.
Because the
This is what
four
we'll do.
Jews
Nick,
made the plan in '96 that got us to invade Iraq like 10
please,
years later.
this one,
Still
guys,
Listen to my guy.
Nick, so please cover your examples of why.
Jewish Zionist number one enemy is Syria.
In Iraq, that they have an interest in killing U.S. troops.
Just in Iraq, but against Hezbollah, against Syria, against Iran. What I'm trying to do is paint a picture. I'm not saying that the Jewish lobby is omnipotent. I'm not saying that they control every aspect of government.
My feelings and all women are victims. That's his worldview. He don't know about no other countries, what's going on behind the scenes, because he don't get paid to talk about what's going on behind the scenes.
Your stream, I watch your stream. You always hand wave away all these
Still not the
Jews
first Gulf
in the
War.
Defense Department. You hand wave away all the Jewish disproportionate stuff by saying that things are as they seem. There are people in the world, they act a certain way, but it can't be explained by a conspiracy. That's what I'm talking. That's why it matters to go through these examples.
And people bite.
Well, let me name off 15 random facts, and I'm going to fact check on any single thing you're talking about.
Real.
Yeah.
The
Libyan invasion was clearly
Guys,
Yeah, it's about Kurds.
let's keep this civil.
Yeah.
Okay, because he asked a question about.
Had a problem with Saddam Hussein. The Zionists had a problem with Saddam.
But he at least he gonna die on his sword. I could give him that. Like, look, I tried, y'all. At least I ain't go out like, yeah, he won. Destiny knew he was over with once he said, "Oh, I didn't know about this," and they like, "Yeah, of course you didn't know."
Saddam Hussein invade Kuwait and use
You're not
chemical
following,
weapons.
though. I'm not
that's what
saying
I'm asking
you're
you.
not
Tell me
following.
simply.
Yeah, no. but
Without
you're
talking
playing
about
dumb. You're playing
Benghazi,
dumb.
without
You're playing
talking
dumb
about
because you're
China,
disingenuous.
without talking about Ukraine.
Without talking about other examples of American foreign policy
It's
to
always
establish a concrete
obfuscation and
worldview.
dialogue trees.
And
That's
it's
the
always
only thing that it
derailing.
is.
It's always derailing. It's
Destiny, he was only talking about Israel. He wasn't talking about China and all this and all that. It's America and Israel and Iran and Iraq and Saddam. That was it. Look, he's scratching his head like, damn, what the hell did I get myself into? I thought I was going to be able to defeat him. Nope. He ain't no walk in the park because he get called racist. Y'all people better wake up, bruh, because you hear other white people call other white people racist because they telling the truth. Somehow they stupid and weak.
sophistry from you
I
because you have no idea what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Ask your question, and then he'll answer it.
How did the Jews make us invade in the first Gulf War?
But see, that's a totally incorrect. It's so funny.
You're so
It's so
triggered.
funny.
I see.
Y'all just see that? You see a man, Destiny, no, he ain't got nothing else. And look at the face of Nick. He can't even. You can see the shame on him. Like, damn. I want to fake like I won one, so I'm gonna try to lie to Kiki. He know he got fouled out. He couldn't hold it down. Nick did.
See the trigger in you.
I'm not triggered, but that's
You're
just what
very
you do.
triggered.
When you
It
lose
is.
a
It's very
debate,
funny to me
when
that
you lose a debate,
This is like
you
your
do this,
specialty, area of
hang on, you
interest.
do
I
this
don't know fucking
contemptuous,
half the shit you're talking about, and
It's
you
just
don't
like
have
the
an answer
weasel
for
words.
me.
It's just like the
Because
weasel
you
words
rely
at
on
the
somebody
beginning.
having no understanding of anything
It's
you're
just
talking
like the
about,
weasel
and you
words
just
at
say
the
random
beginning.
fucking shit to win the argument.
It's so weird.
ahead.
It's so crazy.
Okay. The question
Here's-
is, how did? Say it one more time. What was it?
He brings up
No,
like
no, it's a
5 different
false premise.
conflicts.
It's a false
Destiny, please
premise.
ask the
It's a
question.
false
Charles,
premise.
ask
Here was the
one more
question is, he
so
said,
that we don't derail,
he
guys.
said, how did the Jews make
make a-
Saddam Hussein do these things?
Yes.
I
There you
never
go.
said the Jews made Saddam Hussein do those things. Were you listening?
Oh, so Saddam Hussein chose to invade Kuwait
Uh-huh.
and gas the Kurdish people.
I don't know that he gassed the Kurdish people, by the way.
Oh,
I don't know
we
if I
just don't
believe
think
that.
that
6
happened?
million?
Let's say they did, though. As I said before, that's the pretext, Destiny. Countries do bad things all the time.
Were there other countries
Well,
that were
let me
using
ask you
chemical
this.
weapons on
Were
their
there-
own citizens in the Middle East that we had no interest in? Wasn't that one of the reasons why we went after Gaddafi? Was claims of torturing people, locking them up in prisons?
No, we said.
Why is it that
the
we went
reason
to
why
invade? Why
it
is
was
it that we went
following-
to
wait,
invade?
wait,
Why
tell
is it
me,
that we
tell
went to
me.
when we went to depose Gaddafi? Why is it that even China abstained from voting against U.S. involvement in that? Because they knew that Gaddafi was a fucked up person, and they knew that that country was being ran in
please,
fucked
yeah.
up ways.
China's not ran by fucked up people, and there's no other fucked up
I'm just
countries in
saying,
the world.
China
Let
had
me
the
ask you
ability
this,
to enter,
Destiny.
and everybody
Let
say,
me
don't
ask you
do it.
this.
There's
Let me
a
ask you
reason why
this.
they abstained.
Let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
So we went into Libya, we went into Iraq because it's fucked up guys doing fucked up stuff. Are
We
there
changed
any,
from the first Gulf
are
War.
there
Note
any
that. Go
leaders?
ahead.
Are there any leaders doing fucked up stuff in Africa and Latin America?
I think that generally the United States
Yes or
has...
no? Yes or no?
Yeah, they're probably... Yeah, of course. I'm pretty
Okay,
sure there's
so
like 6
why?
ongoing
So
genocides.
where are the ground wars in Africa and Latin
No
America?
geostrategic interests, and I don't know if there
Okay,
are... I don't know if
now
there's
back to the original
democracies
point.
there. I don't know if there's...
Good point, Nick. We don't hear United States say that. Oh, we helping out Africa because we protecting them. We helping out Brazil because we protecting them. Yeah, right. He got a good point.
There are democracies
Back to the
that we
original
feel like
point.
are worth
What was the
supporting.
geostrategic interest in toppling Saddam Hussein in 2003?
That entire area, because of its location near Russia, I believe, is of interest to the United
Because
States.
of it, so we invaded Iraq because of its location
I
near
didn't say
Russia.
we invaded. I didn't say we invaded Iraq.
See, this is why.
Oh, I'm not gonna. You don't want me to answer the question? This is why you
Let
just want me to
him
answer.
answer, Nick, please.
Oh, now there's no interruptions. Okay,
let him answer.
Yeah, let's hear
And
it
then
about
Destiny.
Russia.
Answer,
The reason
and then-
why
and then
we
you can
invaded-
Yo,
go.
Sonic the Hedgehog, let's
The
go.
reason why
Let him-
we invaded
let him
Iraq,
answer, and then you can answer.
the reason why we invaded Iraq is because Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait with shitty pretext and used chemical warfare against the people of Kurdistan, the Kurds living in the north of Iraq. The reason why we have an interest in Iraq is because of the location on the globe. So if you want to tell me why we're interested in Iraq, I can tell you that. If you want to tell me why we invaded, I can tell you that. Those are the two separate.
Looking at
If
your
I
chat.
can bring up 10 different things and I say the Jews, and then I push on any one of those, and I was like,
To be fair,
different things, and I say the Jews, and then I push on any one of those, and I was like,
to be fair,
Yeah,
hold on. To be fair, both of you guys have done it. So, are you? Did you get to answer the first Gulf War thing? You
He
did.
doesn't have an answer.
We already went over
We
He
didn't
has
that.
go
no
over it.
answer. We didn't go over
No,
it.
we did. I said it was pretextual.
If
That's the
there's-
answer.
he said-
Pretext. Every war is pretextual.
Oh, finally, an admission. I agree.
Are you
You're right.
There's a reason
Just
for
like our
every war.
support
They're not
for Israel.
random.
Thank you
The
very
pretext
much.
was
I
them invading
appreciate it.
Kuwait and using chemical warfare
Yes,
against the
it's
Kurdish
a false
people.
pretext.
Oh, so that
Okay.
didn't happen.
Are
They
you
didn't invade Kuwait. They didn't gas the Kurds.
Are you both comfortable with leaving the Gulf War and going to Kanye?
No.
Hold on, hold on.
I want to continue with the
brought this up as an
Iraq war.
example.
Yeah, now, yeah, because he did ask. Because the two reasons you gave for Iraq was,
I can
Yes,
tell you
you-
there's a
Russia.
general reason the United States will
Yeah.
support countries that are of geostrategic interest. That usually means next to important travel ways for trade.
Of course.
It could mean geographic location in relation to China or Russia.
Yes.
And then there's a third reason, places that have somewhat tenable democracies.
Yeah.
Like that's an important thing. That's why we don't intervene so much in African countries, because we're worried that if we start shipping in a ton of weapons, shit will get fucked. In Iraq, we abandoned that strategy,
hold on,
and
guys,
that
let
was
him
one of the
speak, please.
reasons why the post-Iraq war, the second Gulf War, was such an unbelievable fucking shit show, because we invaded the country, we dismantled the government,
Fair use, fair use.
and we realized that was fucked, so we tried to build another government, and that was even more fucked, and arguably a lot of what we ended up shipping to Iraq went straight to fucking ISIS.
So
that
do
was
you-
one of the
do you
bad
not
things
think
about that was
that
like the bad
Israeli-
thing about
okay,
Iraq.
let me ask
and
you this then.
Afghanistan as well. Yes.
let me ask
Yeah.
you this, just so Nick can properly respond to the Iraq war.
Sure.
Are you saying that Israeli involvement had nothing to do with us going into Iraq?
That
Israeli
is-
involvement.
I'm sure that people from Israel were probably happy we did it. I'm sure there are Jewish people
Okay.
in the United States that are
Just
probably
let
happy
me
we did
finish,
it. But I don't think the Jews made it happen. Like, I think if you delete Israel and you delete Jewish people, God willing for Nick, from the world, we're still probably going
Okay,
to
so you
Iraq as
think
a war.
we would have invaded regardless of Israeli
Regardless of
involvement?
any Jewish
Okay,
influence.
what's your
yes.
response to that? He's saying Israel pretty much played no part in it.
Okay, well, I mean, I was about to respond to a lot of this. I would say in the first place, he said, well, we don't go